A man who is tired of London is tired of life, for there is London, all that life can afford. And don't worry, this is actually a Sunday lunch video in an old London pub. However, that quote came from a very particular famous person, namely Dr. Samuel Johnson, who is actually a patron, or was a patron of this particular pub. And it's no ordinary place. This is the Ye Olde Cheshire Chees, located in just off Fleet Street. All right, so I'm excited and I'm going to go inside now and I'll see you at the table. Normally I go through the food menu first, but in typical fashion they always ask you what you like to drink as you're in the middle of filming. So I'm going to do the smart thing and have a look through the drinks menu first. So they actually got the beer and cider on tap in the actual menu, so it saves me having to go up to the bar, which is very handy. I remember having this old brewery bitter before in the Anchor Tap, which is further down in along near Tower Bridge. But as you can see, this pub is actually now under the control of Samuel Smith Brewery. So I might actually go for the Sovereign Bitter. I've not actually had that one before. And of course, I tried to order the Sovereign Bitter, only to be told that they've run out. And I tried to order another bitter, and that was out also. So I'm back to the older brewery bitter instead, which I've had before, so that will have to do. Okay, I'm just looking at the food menu. I kind of had a vague idea of what I wanted before I set foot in it anyway. I'm going for a starter and a roast for today. I won't mention the starter just yet. I will elaborate a little bit later on, as it's got a little bit of connection to the history. As this is a Sunday roast video, I'm going for a roast. I'm slightly tempted by the trio of roasts, but it might be a little bit overkill because I'm having starter, so yeah, maybe just go for the sirloin for now. You can order extra Yorkshire pudding, extra cauliflower cheese if you're hungry. There's a rather splendid looking little cheese display, which I'll try and grab some video of a little bit later. They were not kidding about the lighting level in this pub. It is very dimly lit, very little natural light, of course, because it's in a small alleyway. And there is another floor, I think, down in the cellar, which apparently was based on a former monastery. Contestable, as the actual monastery is based south of Fleet Street. So, yeah, the jury is out on that one. But anyway, so this pub is one of those legitimate pubs that can claim to be one of the oldest in London. It was actually rebuilt in 1667, just following the Great Fire of London. It was known as the Horn before that, maybe dating back as far as the 1540s, which is going deep into sort of the Tudor times, Henry VIII, that sort of jazz. Have a quick sip of my old brewery ale. So, cheers. But I thought to share some tasting notes of this particular bitter. The reason why I didn't order it again is I had this before at the Anchor Tap, and I must admit it's a little bit insipid. And I thought it was just the particular sample back in the Anchor Tap, but here it's the same taste. So I think this is how this bitter actually delivers itself to the palate. So I alluded that I was only scratching the surface about this pub, and I mentioned a few, well, just the one name so far, but another name, Charles Dickens, was a big fan of this pub, and he's been known to have dined here. And one of his favourite meals or dishes, Welsh rarebit. So yeah, that's what I'm having for my starter. So this is, of course, it's not the same rarebit recipe as originally dished out in the 1800s. This is more of a modern twist to it. I believe there's some chili jam on there. So I've actually never had chili jam on rarebits before, so this will be quite a first time and slightly worrying experience for me, but I'm sure it'll be fine. Got to be positive. Okay, I just spread a little bit of chili jam onto the end there. Just don't want to overload it with stuff. I might need two hands to cut this though, so I'm going to have to just go off camera to do that. I'll be right back. Okay, so here goes nothing. That was quite mild. It's not as chilly or spicy as I assumed it would be, so yeah, thankfully it's fairly balanced. Mixes well in with the cheese, so yeah, so far so good. Just getting into this Welsh rare bit I think the heat is now starting to build up a little bit, but still nicely balanced, not too overpowering, which is a relief. Being this is a Sunday lunch vlog, I may emphasise a little bit more on the food as well as the general history of this pub. I'm trying to please everybody, I suppose. I'm certainly enjoying this, but I'm probably going to get shot for saying this, but it's a roast. I guess it gives me a little bit of sort of almost like pizza on a piece of bread vibes. You've got the melted cheese, there's no tomatoes in there, but the chili jam gives me that slightly sweet, acidic flavour to it as well. For a starter, it's very comforting to eat, and it just gets you ready for the main course, which is the whole idea of a starter. Anyway, a little bit of cress here just to zhuzh up a little bit. All good, and so far. You know what? I was a bit harsh on the Samuel Smith Old Brewery bitter, but after just been eating the rare bits with the chili jam, it actually goes really well. Actually, it's got a nice, refreshing quality to it. So yeah, I think it matches really well. So I think I've recovered okay with that one. Yeah. So I'll take back anything harsh I said earlier. Just to elaborate a little bit more about Dr. Samuel Johnson, of course, a very famous literary figure, well-known patron of this pub. He also authored one of the most significant and most widely accepted editions of the English dictionary. There is the comedy of Blackadder, where the character Baldric, accidentally set fire and burnt the original copy of that dictionary. You had Blackadder frantically trying to rewrite the thing within the weekend. This pub is, in terms of history, it keeps on giving. Anyway, I'll stop waffling because my roast has arrived. This is the roast beef. There are vegetables in there, but it doesn't seem to be that much. I mean, there's one floret of broccoli, and then there's one piece of carrots there. There's roast potatoes, and of course there's the big, fairly generous sized Yorkshire pudding. So let me just move this out of the way to reveal what else is under here. Okay, yes, there's more potatoes. Actually, there's some red cabbage there. Yeah, I'm going to tuck into this now and then, see how it goes. Apologies, I had to go off camera as I needed two hands to cut the beef. So this is the first mouthful. And yeah, we'll see how this one goes. It's not too bad, but I must admit I did have to put a bit of effort into cutting the beef, and it's not as pink as I like it to be if I was going to be picky. But gravy's nice, seasoned quite well. Yes, but so far so good. Just thought I'd try the carrot as well. It's not al dente, it's just cooked all the way through, so it's nice and soft. Okay, so I'm just getting through the roast. Potatoes, not crispy, they're just cooked thoroughly. That's the best description I can give it. And well seasoned. The gravy goes nicely with it. I like the red cabbage as well. Yeah, that's a little bit of a sweet and tartness to contrast with the richness of the gravy. Sorry, I'm going to speak a little bit, lower my voice a little bit as it's starting to empty out and don't disturb the other diners here. Overall, yeah, I say middle of the road. The beef I think, is overdone. It could have been a bit pink in the middle, and the slices are a tad too thick. It would have been better to give me 3 thinner slices than say 2 thicker slices. Overall, it's not bad. I mean, I'll just see through the rest of this, and I'll catch up with you maybe in the bar area.
first time here?
Yes.
Then definitely it's a bit of a tradition.
Yeah.
To go down the cellar.
And in similar vein to that, in the Prospect of Whitby, the Old Cheshire Cheese has listed all the reigning monarchs during the lifetime of this particular pub, dating right up to Charles III. There you have it. Okay, I've set it up the bill for my Sunday lunch and then decided to have a little peruse around the rest of the pub. So I went upstairs, downstairs as well, and they weren't kidding about this place. It is like a little maze. There's just hickory-pickory layout of the entire building. So many, I think there's like 3 or 4 bars spread across the 3 floors, which is quite remarkable. I don't think you'll struggle to get service around here, if I'm honest. So I'm downstairs in the cellar, quite an intimate spot in the pub, and I've elected to go for a lager this time. I was feeling quite thirsty and needed something a bit more cool and refreshing, so I've gone for an Alpine lager, which is another one of Samuel Smith's own offerings. Cheers. It's very crisp. It's got a slightly maltiness to it as well. This is a nice touch. Definitely doesn't have that commercial lager taste, so I'm quite pleasantly surprised by that. I've had to ask where Polly the parrot was. Another subject of interest about this pub. So Polly the parrot is an African grey parrot that was a very famous celebrity back in the day in the late 1800s. The parrot would, of course, like all parrots do, mimic human speech. Apparently after the end of the First World War, during Armistice Day, Polly the parrot mimicked the sound of the popping of champagne up to 400 times in one evening to the point of exhaustion, where he then collapsed. And then rumour has it he also went missing one night, and a search across the entirety of Fleet Street took place, only for a random stranger walking by hearing a shrieking parrot-like tone of voice, and a little short conversation ensued, and then he was brought back to the pub. Polly passed away at the age of 40 in around 1926, and he was so famous, being the fact that was in the middle of Fleet Street. Around 200 newspapers across the world posted an obituary in Polly's name. So yeah, there you have it. And again, this pub, in terms of history, just keeps on giving. And as with many Samuel Smith pubs, they tend to retain the original design features of the pub. No attempt to modernise whatsoever, which is a great thing. You just want to preserve its heritage and character and history. I've been name dropping a few famous figures, historical figures over the years, but it doesn't end there. I mean, there's more. There's the likes of Mark Twain, Oliver Goldsmith. Mentioned Charles Dickens as well. He mentioned 2 characters in his book, A Tale of the Two Cities. 2 guys meeting up in this very pub for supper. Who else could I mention? Oh, Agatha Christie. Yeah, Agatha Christie. One of her novels about Poirot. Again, meeting up with one of his clients prior to taking on a mystery case. Met up in the Cheshire Cheese to discuss the details. That would imply that Agatha Christie was indeed a fan of this pub, and at least very much the food as well, as she does mention. They sampled some, I think it's beef and kidney suet, which is on the menu, and I was actually close to ordering that, but since this is a Sunday lunch vlog, I elected to stick to the Sunday lunch options. So I'm not going to pretend that I'm an expert at this pub. I did a little bit of research, and I'm kind of parroting on what I've read. Yeah, no pun intended. Thankfully, it's actually quite cool in there, being it's a cellar, so it's kind of resilient to all the climate that is up on ground level. So that was Ye Olde Cheshire Cheese in the flesh, and I hope I provided a decent amount of footage in there to give you a good flavour of the experience in there. It is certainly a very special pub. The last pub I actually been to that had anything remotely anywhere near that, the history and character would be the Prospector Whitby in Wapping. But this one certainly has its own set of stories and anecdotes in there. Thanks everyone who has been watching, and if you have not subscribed yet and you've been watching my videos and you like what you see, then your support will be greatly appreciated. So please like, comment, subscribe, engage, keep watching my videos, as all of that will make a massive difference to the future of my channel also. Okay then, I'm going to now head off, so I wish you all a happy rest of the weekend, and I'll see you all again soon.